The Indiana Fever, led by the electrifying Caitlin Clark, have been at the center of this season's action. Clark isn't just a great player. She's become the face of the league, drawing in fans, selling out arenas, and bringing a new level of excitement to women's basketball. But with that spotlight has come a lot of scrutiny, especially when it comes to how games are being called by the referees. So, what exactly happened? Why is everyone talking about officiating? And why is Caitlin Clark right in the middle of it? Let's break it down. On May 24th, 2025, the Indiana Fever hosted the defending champion, New York Liberty. I was watching that game, and honestly, it was everything you want from a top-tier matchup. Intense, competitive, and coming down to the wire. With just 2.2 seconds left, the Fever were trailing by 2. Sophie Cunningham inbounded the ball to Clark near half court. Everyone in the arena and everyone watching at home, including me, knew the ball was going to Clark for that final shot. Clark tried to make her move, but Liberty guard Natasha Cloud stripped the ball before she could get a shot off. Instantly, Clark turned to the referees, signaling that she'd been fouled, but the officials stayed silent. No call. The buzzer sounded, and just like that, the Fever's chance to tie or win the game was gone. Now, I've seen plenty of close games and controversial calls.
Minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable.
To New York Liberty. The refs are horrible in this game, man. It was a heartbreaker at the end, and I think the refs were a big part of the way the game ended.
But Clark's reaction was something else. She didn't just walk off the court. She confronted the referees, demanding an explanation. You could see the disbelief and frustration on her face, and she wasn't alone. Fever head coach Stephanie White was furious, calling the officiating disrespectful and astonishing. She even suggested that her team had been on the wrong end of a pattern of unfair treatment. For me, and for a lot of fans, that moment felt like more than just a missed call. It was a turning point. Clark, known for her competitive fire, decided she wasn't going to let it slide. In the days that followed, she spoke out in interviews and on social media, pointing out that this wasn't the first time she'd felt targeted by questionable officiating. She called for more transparency and accountability from the league, saying that if the WNBA wanted to be taken seriously, it needed to address these issues head-on. And let me tell you, the reaction was immediate. Fans started sharing video clips of Clark getting hit on the arm, bumped on drives, or otherwise impeded, often with no whistle from the refs. Hashtags like Fair Calls for Clark and hashtag WNBA Officiating started trending, and the debate exploded across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Some people argued that Clark's aggressive style and superstar status made her a target, maybe even as a way to protect veteran players or established stars on other teams. Others wondered if the referees just weren't keeping up with the faster, more physical style of play that Clark and her peers have brought to the league. And yes, there were even some voices suggesting a protective culture among officials, or in extreme cases, outright corruption. I'm not saying I buy into every conspiracy theory, but I get why people are suspicious. What's really interesting is that this isn't just about Caitlin Clark. While her situation has drawn the most attention, complaints about inconsistent officiating have been simmering across the league for a while. The WNBA has grown rapidly, with games getting faster, players becoming more athletic, and the spotlight getting brighter. But the league's officiating system hasn't always kept up. Unlike the NBA, which has a robust process for reviewing and disciplining referees, the WNBA is still developing its approach. Calls can be inconsistent, communication from officials is often vague, and there's a sense among players and coaches that accountability is lacking. Clark's willingness to speak out has forced the league to confront these issues head-on. Her prominence means the WNBA can't just sweep the controversy under the rug. In response, the league released a statement affirming its commitment to fair and consistent officiating. They promised to review the disputed calls and said they were listening to player concerns. But the referees themselves have stayed mostly silent, following league policies that discourage officials from discussing calls publicly. For some, that silence has only added to the suspicion that something is amiss. Behind the scenes, though, there are signs that the league is taking the issue seriously. I've heard there are discussions about improving referee training, increasing accountability, and even expanding the use of video replay. Some insiders have floated the idea of introducing a player challenge system, similar to what's used in other pro leagues. Personally, I think these changes could make a big difference, especially in those high-stakes moments where one missed call can change everything. All this controversy has put even more pressure on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. As the team's leader and the league's marquee player, Clark already carries a heavy load. Now, she's also become the face of a movement for fairness and transparency in women's basketball. To her credit, Clark has handled the spotlight with grace and determination. She's made it clear that while she wants better officiating, her main focus is still on improving her game and helping her team win. Coach Stephanie White has echoed that message, urging the Fever to stay focused and not let outside distractions derail their season. But White hasn't shied away from the bigger picture either. She's warned that if the league doesn't address its officiating problems, it could undermine the WNBA's credibility and growth. What's remarkable about this whole saga is how it's transformed Clark's role in the league. She's always been a star on the court, but now she's becoming a leader off it as well. By speaking out, she's given a voice to frustrations that many players have felt but few have dared to express. Her advocacy is already having an impact. More players are starting to talk openly about officiating, fans are demanding better, and the league is being forced to reckon with issues it might otherwise have ignored. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one bad call or one frustrated player. It's about the integrity of the game. I want to believe, and I think most fans do too, that what happens on the court is decided by skill, effort, and teamwork, not by questionable officiating. If the WNBA wants to keep growing, it needs to make sure that its games are fair and its stars are protected. That means investing in better training for referees, increasing transparency, and holding officials accountable when they make mistakes. So, what can the WNBA actually do to fix these problems? Here are some of the reforms being discussed. First, there's a push for more rigorous and frequent referee training so officials can keep up with the evolving style of play. The league is also considering publishing detailed officiating reports and explanations for controversial calls, which would help players and fans understand what happened and why. Creating formal channels for players to report concerns and get timely responses would improve communication and trust. On the technology front, introducing a coach or player challenge system along with expanded video replay could help ensure the right calls are made in critical moments. And of course, referees who consistently make poor or biased decisions need to face real consequences, whether that means additional training, suspension, or even dismissal. These changes won't happen overnight. But the conversation has started, and that's largely thanks to Caitlin Clark's willingness to speak out. Her stance is a reminder of how much power athletes have to shape their leagues. By challenging the status quo, she's encouraged others to do the same. This push for greater player empowerment is a positive step for the WNBA, creating a more transparent and equitable environment for everyone. Ultimately, the league's success depends on its credibility. Fans expect games to be decided by skill and effort, not by questionable officiating. Ensuring fair calls protects the league's reputation and supports its continued growth in popularity and financial viability. Clark's confrontation with WNBA referees has exposed a significant and urgent issue within professional women's basketball. The no call in the Fever's close loss to the New York Liberty has become a symbol of broader concerns about officiating bias, inconsistency, and potential corruption. Clark's courage in speaking out has sparked vital conversations about fairness and accountability in the league. As the WNBA moves forward, it faces a pivotal opportunity to reform its officiating practices and reaffirm its commitment to integrity. The league's response will not only impact Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, but also the future of women's professional basketball as a whole. By addressing these challenges head-on, the WNBA can build a stronger, more respected league where players like Clark can shine without controversy overshadowing their greatness. So, what do you think? Is the officiating controversy just part of growing pains for a league on the rise? Or is there something more serious going on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in sports. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.